Hello race fans, sim fans, RC fans, Racing 393. So this is a small video update on my Schumacher Eclipse 4 LMP12 Carpet Racer. So I've done a few little things to it since our last video. The last video currently I think has like nearly 500 views, and I had a lot of feedback from various people, and some of my questions were at the end of the video. So for me, as a I'm not a content creator, but making a video that people watch and they watch to the end, I'm very grateful for, because I had some questions and there was some really helpful answers. So again, for the people that took the time to answer some questions and gave me some advice, thank you very much. It really is appreciated. So this video, just a few updates really. Now, on the last video, let me just show you what I had on the car. I've got it in my hand here. So I just had these generic with the purple stripe around the tyre. I bought these because you can see here that it's like a 3-bolt holder for the, what they call the hubs at the back. So I just bought these randomly. Now, upon reading the rule book, if you like, online, it transpires that you can't use those tyres. It did say all black. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to have to buy some more tyres. In the last video, I had some tyres, but I had to buy some tyre additive. And again, this came from, I can't remember if it was the video or Facebook, the LMP12 Facebook group, UK. For either or, somebody said that you must use tyre additive. You've got to do it. And I even had a comment off of somebody who runs the BRCA and said, ignore, I can't think what he said now, ignore the advice at your peril. So once I found out a few bits and pieces, the first process was to buy some additive, which I've got here. So I've got the one that was recommended as per instruction. So I've got some additive. And whilst I was on the website, I decided I'm gonna have to get, I don't know, because they're cheap, aren't they? The wheels and tyres are cheap. You know, I come from a environment from racing where, well, I can remember my super stock, when I used to do stock car racing, the tyres are like nearly, even then, I mean then, I'm talking like a number of years ago now, 65, 70 quid each, and they're definitely they're near £100 each now. That's the tyre. And when the tyre only lasts, well, it does last quite a while, I must admit, but they do wear down pretty quick. So the car does genuinely go, back then the stock car went better with new tyres. So you can see what I'm saying. It's like that's without any damage and the usual stuff with stock car racing. That's just the tyre. Karting, a set of tyres set me back when I did, well, I've still got my karts, but 140 quid, 120 quid. I'm sure, I know for a fact they've probably got them more than that now, or they've changed tyres a bit on the rules and regs. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, these are, I think those ones are like £8 or something. I mean, what? I mean, I'm assuming they last longer than a meeting. So yeah, anyway, that's a question that somebody could perhaps answer. So yeah, let me, the thing is with these tyres and these wheels, they are different. They are a different size. I think the diameter is slightly different to what these are on there, and they're definitely wider. Let me just move the car to the rear. So these tyres here, the width of the tyre across there is, I mean, that was a rear tyre that I had on the car. And I'm pretty sure, there's a limit on the width in the rules. I'm hoping not, are they too wide? I hope not. There's so many little rules that you've got to kind of understand and remember. But I think there's a width limit. I want to say like 40mm, but I think these ones are over 40mm. I'm pretty sure. Don't know. So again, there's all these questions. What's the limit? I mean, do you just? I mean, they are all 4. I mean, these did say the BRCA legal tyres, so I'm only assuming that that's correct. So I perhaps need not worry about that. Okay, so we've got these tyres on. Now the shed is cut for the previous tyres, and it's very close. And the front are super close. They're not touching, but when they go on lock, it just touches. So in your expert opinions out there, do I have to trim the, well, let me start again. Is it better to have a little bit more leeway with the arches on the tyres? Because if you get hit here, and it's going to be very easy to get hit, and that could be bent up, that will hit the tyre and curl under. So, I mean, do you just give it a little bit more leeway, a bit more of a gap between the tyres? So you've got more spacing between the body and the tyre itself. You can see it sort of hugged really, really close, but it still works fine, and so does the back. It doesn't do anything, it's not hitting anything, but it's just the tolerances are really, really tight. Yeah, there's another sort of, I keep saying sort of, I really hate that expression. There's another situation, let me just show you this. So we've got I bought this ages ago, so this is those, I know you guys know more than me about this, so Hobby Wing program box, as you can see. Now, to do the firmware upgrade, it's got to be done via the box. So yeah, so whatever's on the box, within this, not the box, no, the programmable box inside, whatever's on that, you can set your speed controller to, i.e. firmware and other settings, blinky mode, etc. So what I'm thinking, because this has got a USB adapter on it, you probably go to the Hobby Wing website, update this box, and then put the firmware from the box to the speed controller. That's my understanding. It's the only way you can do it, isn't it? I don't know what's on at the moment, so it's probably best to update the box before I use it and then plug it into the speed controller. That's my plan. I have used these before. I've got one for another car, another speed controller. Have I? Yes. Why have I got 2 then? What else has got one? I can't remember. So yes, I've got another one of these somewhere that goes on another car. So we've got the box, we've got the additive, we've changed the tyres, we're not using them, we've got these ones on the car. What else? Right, okay, so the nitty gritty now. So I'm gonna just remove the shell. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the camera with my hand now just to show you around. So close up of the tyres. The tyres, aren't they? Look nice, look alright. Look how I expect them to look, to be honest. Here's the front ones. I'm not sure I forgot a thing, they're like 30, the number 30 on them, so they're soft-ish, I guess. So in here, you'll notice I've got the transponder. I haven't sort of fixed it down yet. And I'll be honest with you, the speed controller, I don't know whether that goes, because it can go towards the back of the car a little bit more, but yeah, it might have to be moved. It wasn't quite stuck down, I noticed, when I took the shell off, although it's got, you know, tape under it. So the only thing I've got to do, as I said in the last video, I've got to put some ends on these so they can be plugged into the battery. I've got to get some flat, sort of angled ones, because the ones I've got stick up, and I think they're going to be too tall for the shell. Got to figure out a way of sticking that down. It does say to drill the chassis, and I've got like a little fixing point in there. There's actually 3 on this, but I cut 2 off so that I could fit it in. It is the right way, it's facing the right way, so I don't know whether that's going to be suitable there. I can actually, I don't know, it won't fit under there because there's like little places there where it can go underneath this bracing, but I think it's too tall. So that you've got the sort of bolty bit at the back there. We can bolt it down. I suppose it could go there if I twist the sort of the fixing around, maybe. Sort of the transponder can still face that way because that's the way forward. It might go there. Okay, a lot of fix it down. So I'll have to I'm sort of thinking out loud. I might move that anyway if I need to move it. What else? So let me just spin the car around. So just to sort of clarify my own mind here, I'm using a Fly Sky. Sanwa's obviously I say obviously, someone did mention Sanwa's what they're all using, and I was looking at Sanwa radio equipment because it seemed to be the most popular. But you know, it's again, you know, £200 odd or more even, and that's a cheap one that I saw, to run things like antennaless receivers, which is what my understanding is what everyone's running. Now I'm not going to change my radio gear. Fly Sky, I'm going to run an aerial. It's going to, you know, well, online when I was watching the racing, the commentator said, "Oh look, unusual, someone's got an aerial." Well, that'll be me. So that's got to be bound, which is the next thing to do once I've got the battery connectors on. And we're getting there. There's just the sort of the small bits. I've obviously got to paint the shell, which I won't do until after I've taken this to Eastbourne, the track, on the 15th of January to get, well, I'm not going to race there, but just to get people's perspective on how I've set it up. I was told to leave the front springs as they were. It's standard, so I have. So thank you for the person who gave me that advice. I think these wheels are a little bit tight on the bearings, so it needs to be sorted out, but that's not a problem. The other issue, I say issue, it's just I don't know. So I've got I think I mentioned on the last video, I've got a standard spur gear. It's a ball diff in this. So I can hold the wheel there and turn it. There's not a huge amount of resistance there, but it can be tightened up. So that's a standard spur gear kit size. I don't know the teeth, 84 or 87, whichever the standard Schumacher size is. And I'll just put a random, I'm just trying to see now, I can't see in there myself unless I sort of, can't remember how many teeth. But I don't know what the sort of the basic rule of thumb is on pinion, because you can go really small, as you know, and quite large, as you know. So there's clearly a sweet spot which will work regardless of, especially someone from my level, how good you are. You know, when it comes to gearing, I can only relate the gearing on this to on my kart. Now, over the years of racing karts, we used to change the rear sprocket more than anything, and I would know one tooth difference on my kart if it was changed in a race, well, you know, from one heat to another. So occasionally I might feel the kart, just because of atmospherics, just needs a little bit more zip out of the chicane where my local track was, and it currently still is. So a bigger rear sprocket would effectively give you more acceleration. And I would notice that, it would be noticeable. So, but bearing in mind you're sat in the car driving it, even like, you know, sim racing, you've got some form of force feedback, and you've got a dashboard. In most cases you can sort of see the revs, so if you've made any gearing changes you'll notice it. The thing is with this is you're completely detached from the car, and it's only lap time and results. I mean, I know you can get like data pulled down from the speed controller. I get all that, but and what I'm saying is though, if I went out with this pinion on, it'd have to be either completely way out, like, I mean, at Eastbourne we run no more than, or no more than 10 teeth on the pinion, and if I've got like, that one's got to be somewhere around 48 teeth, you know, it's going to make a massive difference. But if you're running like, oh, we all run 52, but you get away with 50. If it was something like that, for example, and I'm on a 48, that's not going to make any difference. So I'll be more than happy just to leave that on there and give it a go, because you know they're talking the pinnacle of the sport, aren't they? So you know, I could put a 52 pinion on you, assuming that was it. Let's just assume that was it. I go around and I'll be exactly the same with this. I think this is I don't know what it is, 48. Don't know. But if somebody races at Eastbourne and just gives me a pinion to put on number, and that's a standard stock toothed spur gear from as a ball diff, that one. So yeah. So as you can see, we're getting there. This will be, like I say, this is sort of part 2 of the main build up to getting this car out on track. My next move will be soldering the ends onto the wires there. So I've still got to trim these wires, I think. I've got this one here for there, obviously, well, there. Yeah, that's one that gets some ends. I'll get that on, get it bound, so that I can use the, you know, the radio controlled unit. And also I think before I get to the point of turning this on, I'll update the program box via the Hobbywing website, I guess. So I've got to update that, and then put the firmware from that onto this. This, like I said, this wasn't stuck down. It was stuck down properly, but when I took the shell off, it was sticking up. So it's obviously not properly. Find out how I can mount that. Wait for some feedback on the shell. Make sure, you know, because you know, are they too close? I've got to trim the fronts because they foul the front wheels. And I might have to trim the back because they're very close, because they were cut out for different wheels. I think that's it really. So yeah, there'll be another video soon, but not yet. I'm going to get some of this work done behind the scenes. There might be a couple of video shorts as I've done each stage. But yeah, so if anyone, you know, has any input, it is appreciated, because I absolutely know like jack shit about what I should be doing. I think I've got to buy another battery as well. So I mean, you should have at least 2. You can get away with 1, so I've been told, but 2 is probably the better option. I'll get the same one for now. All right, so that's it. I appreciate the guys that watch. Last video, like I said, got nearly, I think it was nearly it might have been over 500. Can't remember now. But the views was great on that video, and the feedback was immensely appreciative. So thank you very much for everyone that contributed. Okay, that's it. So I will see you next time for another video on my update. But look out for some shorts in the coming weeks as I sort of get each step of this done. So thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
Sorry, quick question. I did forget something, I think. It's about the tyre additive. Do you just put that on before you race? Or is it the night before? Does it have to dry? Or while you're at the track? Because it's going to soak into the sponge. The only experience I have of tyre softener or any additive is with the stock car, and this is during a practice session when I used to practice running old tyres. I used to run softener because you weren't allowed it during the racing, and I don't think you were allowed anyway, but it was put on like the day before, so overnight it was left to impregnate the rubber. The type of tyre grip you use also made a difference. You couldn't just sort of slap it on and go out in a race, it wouldn't work. So is it the same with this? Can I brush it on, leave it overnight even, and then race? What's the kind of the norm? I thought I asked this question during the recording, but I think I might have been thinking about it but didn't actually ask. So yeah, anyway, that's the final one. That's before I forget. So if you're able to answer that, it's great. So thank you in advance for that. Appreciate your time anyway, and I will definitely see you next time for some video shorts as I upgrade.